We're changing the time for Rangers and for Girls Ministries. Rangers and Girls Ministries are now going to meet on Tuesday nights at the Columbia County campus while Rebecca's Bible study occurs. This is going to be better for some of you parents because instead of having to worry about taking them out on Friday night, you can bring them on Tuesday. You can enjoy the Bible study. Did I mention that there's a meal every Tuesday night? So if you have not been going and you want to bring your kids, I recommend that you go ahead and get plugged in. There is actually a co-op on the meals. There are different teams that provide the food. I'm excited about this because I think that location is going to be good for Rangers and for Girls Club. We may outgrow it pretty quickly, and lest anybody think I'm double talking, I already told everybody if we get out there and it's so successful that we have to move everything down here, then that's what we'll do. But we're going to take one day at a time. Rangers is our version of scouting. And in fact, if you don't know, Royal Rangers uses, by permission or with permission, all of the scouting skills for camping, knot tying, rope lashing, whatever. And plus then there is the character development that is involved in Rangers. And so for the first time in a long time, I'm going to end up being back in the classroom as a Royal Ranger commander. Can you believe that? I'm not the guy, by the way. I'm just going to tell you. I've always referred to myself as the cardboard poster Royal Ranger. I am not the guy that you want to take you camping. That is a trip that they'd make a horror movie about. And I love you too much to ever take on the responsibility by myself of taking you camping. We'd all die. But sometimes when there's a challenge, we just have to step up. And we lost Arthur Times to Charleston. He and his family have moved over there. And he said, well, I didn't think that was a problem. I thought that took out half the Rangers. Well, it kind of did. But at the same time, Arthur had spent a lot of years being Let me say this too. If you have training as a Ranger commander, might be time to dust off your uniform and jump back in. Here's something I'm going to tell you about Augusta's First Assembly. None of us can afford to take this attitude. I did my time. First of all, I would encourage you to listen to Natalie Grant's song, When Did I Ever Forget? He's the King of the World. You don't have any time. I don't have any time. It all belongs to God. And if we want our church to go forward, we're going to have to get up and get off and get with it. And I'm not scolding you. Look, I'm going to have a blast. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. The last time I taught in Rangers, I taught straight arrows in the big event. But now you know what? Little things. You don't think things are significant. But I had kids, straight arrows I think was 3 to 5 years old back then. And I had later on there were twins. I was looking to see if Teresa Ash is here. Is Teresa here? She's not. I don't see Teresa Ash this morning. But she's probably taking care of Henry. Truth is, her grandsons were in straight arrows, and they're twins. Years later, as they got old enough, they started playing church softball with us. And I don't remember I think it was Mikey came up to me and said, I said, man, that's a great hit. He said, Pastor, it probably had something to do when you taught straight arrows. I said, do what? He said, yeah, don't you remember we played home run derby? We took an 8-foot-long table, and I took balloons that somebody had left in the classroom, blew them up, and I let the kids hit the balloon. If it went all the way to the end and over the end of the table, it was a home run. And those kids got into it. That's the cheesiest possible activity that I could have ever imagined. And here's a guy that was 3 to 5 years old, and then later on he's whomping the ball on a softball field and remembered that and told me. It stopped me in my tracks. I couldn't believe it. You can make a difference. You can impact a life. And so if you don't have this is the promise I make to people that are involved in Rangers or in girls ministry. If you want to get trained, we'll get you trained. And there is training available for Rangers and for girls ministries, and we can get you trained. So Tuesday nights, starting the first Tuesday night in September. Let's go ahead and, since things have settled down, if the brothers will come, we'll receive the offering, and then as they receive the offering, I'll make a couple more announcements. I'm really trying to submit to the videos, but we had a glitch this morning, so that's fine. No worries. everything will work out. And what a great crowd this morning. We're glad to see all of you. And by the way, if you are here for the first time, we welcome you as our guest. And if it is your first time, if you'd like to raise your hand, we have a gift that we'd like to give you. So if you guys, I know you're getting ready to take the offering, but make note of where you see hands. And we already got, okay, we got somebody over here that didn't get taken care of. We'll get that taken care of in a little bit. Thank you for coming our way. If we can serve you in any way, we won't become aware of what you need. We'll be glad to serve you any way. And let's bow our heads. Jesse, if you'll ask God's blessing on. Amen. While they receive the offering, I need to read a card, and I'm actually missing a card. Bill gave me a card to read. Has anybody seen a yellow envelope with a card, a thank you card in it? It's a full-size card, and I don't know what I did with it. I am so sorry. I had that in my hand. I lost the card. Here's what I know. The card is from Brother Bill Crane, who had surgery. He's in charge of our Celebrate Recovery ministry. Notice I didn't say program. Celebrate Recovery is a ministry. Bill's in charge of it. He had surgery, and it's a thank you note for all the prayers and the chicken that was taken to his house when he was sick. And I don't have a clue what I did with that card. I haven't been anywhere, but I somehow misplaced the card. But Bill and his wife say thank you. Is that okay? And also from the Times family, Dear First Assembly of God, our family would like to thank you for the wonderful send-off you blessed us with. Your prayers and love for our family have truly touched our hearts. We miss you so much. We cannot wait to visit and share all that God is doing in your life and ours. All our love, the Times family. So they say thank you, and I say it's just a matter of time till they'll be back, so it's all good. Well, I got a message this morning, and first of all, how many of you heard our missionary, Kurt Plagenhoff, last week? If you did not, let me just tell you, if there's ever a time for you to go to the website, and if you're not a techie and you don't know how to do that, get your grandkid, tell them I want to see the sermon by Kurt Plagenhoff at AugustaFirstAssembly.org. You go and chase, it's actually posted on YouTube, but I want to tell you, there's some missionaries that come to the church and you feel like, well, they're here because we need to help them. I'll tell you, when Kurt Plagenhoff comes to the church, he helps us. That's just a fact. That man preached a message. And I tell you what, if you don't understand the necessity, the need, the calling, I'm putting my phone away. If you don't understand the necessity, the need, and the calling, and the passion of Christ for missions, you need to listen to that message, and he'll unpack it for you. Amazing. Now, a dangerous thing is to try to follow up on a great speaker like that, but that's kind of what's happening this morning because the Lord I couldn't get his message out of him. I was broken last week. I was broken. And the message that I'm preaching is coming out of Acts. I guess my pledge to this church should be that maybe by Christmas I'll be out of the book of Acts. But the truth is, Kurt talked about seeing people the way God sees people, and so this morning I'm borrowing that. Seeing as Christ sees. The truth is, there's also another. I started out with a sermon that went something like, what a Holy Ghost staff meeting looks like. Because this message was birthed out of one of the passages where I'd done the study on prayer in the book of Acts. But the book of Acts is, I've been reflecting on the ministry of Jim Cymbala. And again, in our shallowness, a lot of people would look at the Brooklyn Tabernacle and say, well, I promise you, I've had guys so I've come up to me, fellow ministers, and I'm not the best, I'm a musician. And Rebecca and I have always been we can preach and we can play. And that's an advantage. She got tired of guys coming up to ask her out on a date, and they're all the way around the room. I'll do it, Pastor. I got you. So we're going to start with Acts chapter 8. I'm reading through several passages. Start in chapter 8. We'll end up in 13. I'm not reading all of every chapter. to set the stage for this, even the pastor. They stoned, government intervention and all that. There have who are physically, presently. Acts chapter 8, verse 1. Saul was one of the witnesses, and he agreed completely with the killing of Stephen, Gentiles and as well as to the people of Israel. Sake. Went and found Saul, hands on him, and said, Brother, Lord Jesus, who appeared to you, on believers who went to Antioch from Cyprus and Cyrene, began preaching to the Gentiles, encouraged the believers to stay true to the Lord. Barnabas was a good man. Don't have money.